Folks, the Warriors are in a critical moment. Another loss, Christmas night versus the Lakers, LeBron versus Steph. Great game. Steph played really well, 38 points, and we still couldn't win. Let's see what Steph said about his time right now with the Warriors, his thoughts, comments about the game, and then Steve Curry, Stephen A. And I'm going to share you my thoughts about this as well and what's going on.
How much thought do you put into how much longer you want to play?
More than I probably have before. I think, it's okay to accept and acknowledge that the end is near at whatever point, but only because it allows you to enjoy what's happening right now. But I think the more you talk about it, the more you acknowledge it, it levels up just the sense of urgency of the moment now.
I can't tell you how many times on NBA Today I have said the phrase, maximize Steph Curry's career. How can the Warriors maximize Steph Curry's career?
It's just a matter of acknowledging, like, okay, me and Draymond are in our prime. We're in a situation where you have to kind of think about the game a little differently. But if you're not winning, the answer is, like, how do we make this happen? For me, I know I only have a certain amount of years left, and I want to win desperately. And what helps me helps us. So, yeah, it's a funny term because it's people saying, what is the actual answer? We're trying to figure it out.
And the Warriors are not winning right now, and that's the thing. I said here a few videos ago, the way of winning is two factors, Stephen Curry and defense. And the Warriors lacked defense last night. Stephen Curry, 38 points. He did what he had to do. Let's see what he said in the post-game interview before we talk about Steve Kerr comments and what Stephen A said the Warriors needs to do right now.
It is an inflection point on, obviously, which direction our season can go. If you looked at our guess 30 games in, and you're one game above 500, you needed some context on how you got there. I think our last, whatever it is, 14 games, it's just been tough trying to find any type of momentum or consistency. And through that, you just can't lose spirit and, belief that we're a good enough team to figure it out. Because this league is ruthless. This league is, it changes from window to window of, what you kind of can fall back on. And when you dig yourself a hole like that, sometimes it can be hard to pull out of. So we're right in that window where we can still regain some momentum. These next however many weeks before the break are pivotal, or else we're in a situation where we're chasing down the stretch and nobody wants to be there.
Stuff momentum. The Warriors have lost 11 out of the last 14 games, and with Stephen Curry playing well, some games playing bad. The lack of support is what is hurting the Warriors right now, and some simple, basic, and some would call stupid mistakes. And last night it happened on the defense. The last part of this video, I'm going to show you the last play of the game and the mistake that the Warriors did, and also a question that I have to Steve Curry. I want to know your opinion. Before that, let's see what Steve Kerr said about, let's look at the box score. So you can see that the lack of support from the bench guys, right? And when you compare it to the bench of the Lakers, where they all had double digits, the plus minus for the Warriors bench was really bad. So you can see Wiggins did some help, and you had like Dennis Schroeder double digits, Tracy Jackson Davis double digits. So the Warriors had something going on, but they couldn't stop. And then you go to the free throw shooting that the Lakers are perfect, 18 from 18, if I remember well. The Warriors on the average 75% what they're having from the season, and it's problematic, right? So you can see that some players didn't get in. Moses Moody, Skye Anderson, we're going to talk about this as well. But the lack of support for Stephen Curry, beyond only Andrew Wiggins on and off, is what is hurting right now. Look at Steve Kerr said about Steph and what he said about the game. The bench guys.
Tough ending, but how would you describe Steph's performance tonight? He was sublime. I mean, just those last two shots to bring us back to a tie. One in the corner was just an insane shot, and Steph was brilliant.
How did you get more out of your second unit?
Yeah, I mean, it's In fairness to our guys, we've been all over the map this year, rotation wise. I've had a million different starting lineups. Guys are in and out of certain roles, rotations. I'm well aware of that, and that's hard as a player to not know, how many minutes you're going to get, what minutes you're going to get. The reality is, we're searching. We've lost 11 of 14 games, and I don't feel like this is a roster where you just say, all right, here are our top 8 guys or top 9 guys. We just play those guys. That's Our roster is really deep, and we've got a lot of guys who can play. And every game calls for something different. That's the issue. We've got there's certain games we need more shooting. There's certain games we need more defense. And so we've got a lot of guys who can play, but it's been difficult, to develop consistent rotations and lineup combos. And I think it has not been easy for the guys, but we'll keep plugging away.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's on Steve Curry as well to figure out the rotation, but it's also the fact that you have multiple options that are sort of at the same level, and the guys are getting in, not constantly respond, right? Let's get Jon Leuer, for example. He plays well one game and then he doesn't play, but he'll the same. Moses Moody, all the guys, they are oscillating because they are near to average. Some of them is slightly above average players. So you can't count with them all the time. And that's why Steve Kerr is not insisting and keeps rotating, which gets bad on that. But it's poor performance. That's on the players to get there and play better, make better decisions. I didn't get a lot of pieces of that game, but you had poor selection shooting from multiple players, multiple bench guys, and that's hurting a lot the Warriors. Look what Stephen A. Smith said about the Warriors right now.
Last 2 times before this, I'd sat down with Steph Curry. After he won in 2022, he told me, I'm still in my prime. After he was facing the Sacramento Kings in the play-in tournament, he said, I'm still in my prime. This is the first time to me he said, you know what, I acknowledge that I'm not anymore, and I need some help. You heard him say, we're trying to figure out how to maximize the end of my career. So since they're trying to figure out, let's do it. How do you think they can?
Well, first of all, they got to go out and get him some help. There's no doubt about that. He's 36. He's approaching 37. And unlike LeBron James, who's about 250 or 260 whenever he wants to be at that weight that can push people around and what have you, slow the game down or whatever, you're Steph Curry. Your game is predicated on your movement without the ball, not just your great marksmanship. That level of conditioning that it requires for him to move without the basketball, that's a reason why. Look at over the last 5 years, y'all. 32 points a game, 25.5, 29.4. Last season, 26.4. Now it's down to 21.8. There's a precipitous drop-off, but he's still shooting 40% from three-point range. What's going on here? You can't, the movement without the ball, the conditioning that's required of him. Yeah, he needs some help to take some of the pressure off of him so he doesn't have to do so much in order to achieve so much. That's what you have to do for a guy that's getting up there in age. He's recognizing his own mortality, and that's what this is about.
And I agree with him. The lack of support also impacts on Stephen Curry points because at the end of the day, you get so predictable and it's all on you. All the plays are on you. That gets easier to the defense as well. So if you don't have that other guy supporting that and locking the other team as well on the defense side, it gets too easy. And he's getting older, like it's natural. But you can see the guy's just delivered like 2 games in the last 4 with 31 and 38 points. But where's the rest of the team? Like that's what is hurting right now. Let's take a look at the last play of the game, right? It's going to be repeating here. And I want you to pay attention on Jon Leuer, right? Look at where he was right now. It's going to come back. You can see how he turned his back to the ball. So, like when you're the defense, how problematic it is for you to not be watching the play. And you got to follow the guy. He has hands on the offense guy. Well, he doesn't help when Austin Rivers got past Andrew Wiggins, there's no support on the ring. Something that, for example, if it was Draymond Green here or Tracy Jackson, they would cover that line to support. But now my question is like, look at the roster that is on the starting 5 that is there, right? So Stephen Curry, Draymond Green on LeBron, Andrew Wiggins on Austin Rivers, and then you have Dan Schroeder and Jon Leuer. Now I ask you, 6 seconds left to the game. You're winning. You just have to defend and it's over. Why we don't have either Gary Payton or Skye Anderson, 2 guys that we have on the roster that are known for their defense that they are actually, let's call this way, expert on this. And we know JK is not a good defender. He's getting better on a few things. But why you have JK there? Why not putting, like, where is Skye Anderson? That's my question. Not just for display, but he's a guy that the Warriors put its effort to bring in. He's being paid almost like between 8 to 9 million per year as a 3-year contract, and he's not being used. You don't get a guy with that salary and don't use it. Like, what is happening? What happened with Skye Anderson is my question here, and why Steve Kerr is not using him. There's smart guy. He's not a very, he doesn't have speed. He's not a fast breaker, but he's good on the defense. He can help on other stuff. Why we are not using him? Why we didn't use him in that play? So it's things that the Warriors needs to figure out, because you can see in the Steph Curry interview, he's frustrated, and we are in a pivotal point, 30 games in the season. We need to figure it out, or it's gonna be over for the Warriors. We dropped. We had playing zone. We're almost out of that, so things are really going bad right now. And the schedule is not easy. So you can see tomorrow we play against with Friday we play against the Clippers, and then back-to-back game against the Phoenix Suns is not going to be easy at all. We might not see Stephen Curry in one of these games. He might rest, which makes almost impossible then to win. So I wanted to know your opinion. Where do you think is the problem? Is Steve Kerr bad rotation? The players, the bench guys need to get better. Leave in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. Have a great night, and bye.